Reverend Nuosala Siosi Siutaya, Honorable Minister, the Director General of SPREP, the representative of S.P.C, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of U.S.P, members of the Diplomatic Corps, ladies and gentlemen. As many of you will know, the year-long celebration of our country's 60th anniversary of self-government started last June 2022. It is an occasion that every Samoan and resident in Samoa should be immensely proud of, including being the first Pacific Island country to gain independence in 1962. It was a period of significant development and change in the South Pacific, at the time where modern communications, trade, and tourism were bringing novel influences to bear on largely traditional lifestyles. Samoa was the first island country to become a full member of S.P.C in 1965, with other island nations following suit as they in turn became independent or largely self-governing. The U.S.P was established in 1968 and is owned by Samoa and 11 Pacific Island countries. We joined the Commonwealth of Nations in 1970 and became a member of the United Nations in 1976. The list goes on. My point is, commemorating our independence for the achievements we have made is good, but importantly, it should also serve as a reminder of the sacrifices made by our forefathers to assure our sovereignty, our freedom, and confidence to achieve our people's full potential. Too often, in this day and age, we forget this. It is therefore an honor, and on behalf of the government and people of Samoa, to provide this keynote address for this special event. A joint initiative by the Pacific Community, the Secretariat of the Regional Pacific Environment Program, and the University of the South Pacific to celebrate Samoa's 60th independence anniversary under the theme For Laum Malifatua Tua, the C.R.O.P Journey with Samoa. Before I go further, I want to underscore the value of the work of all C.R.O.P agencies in supporting our respective and collective efforts towards achieving the common goal of sustainable development in our Blue Pacific region. This is irrefutable, notwithstanding the many challenges faced by C.R.O.P agencies. Today, however, I will focus my remarks on Samoa's relationship with the S.P.C, S.P.R.E.P, and U.S.P. It is a relationship, respectively and collectively, of enduring partnership, trust, and commitment. It is also a relationship that has stood the test of time, despite changes and challenges created from both within and beyond our Blue Pacific region. The devastating impact of COVID-19 pandemic and the pervasive impacts of climate change laid bare our vulnerability to extraordinary health, social, environmental, and economic threats and challenges. These triggered, by necessity, a fundamental rearrangement of everyday life as we knew it. We learned to exist under a new normal and strengthened our policies and response and recovery mechanisms in parallel with similar adjustments made by the S.P.C, S.P.R.E.P, and U.S.P. Expectation for more improved levels of cooperation and cohesion in our regional organizations' work was high, particularly in the delivery of technical and scientific policy, knowledge, and technical advice at a time of dealing with unknowns. I wish to acknowledge at this juncture the vital support and assistance of our development partners and friends, particularly during this time, for which we are very grateful. Allow me a few minutes to speak very briefly about the work of these three organizations. Addressing some of Samoa's and our region's most complex development challenges, including climate change impacts, natural disasters, non-communicable diseases, and food and water security, require effective and innovative application of science and technology. I am pleased with the collaboration that our government has established with the S.P.C in the implementation of both national and regional work in the areas of economic, social, gender, health, education, infrastructure, environment, and agricultural, forestry, and fisheries. We continue to benefit from S.P.C's technical and scientific advice, guided by an understanding of our development needs and priorities and close collaboration. The establishment of the S.P.C's Polynesian Regional Office in Tonga should serve to strengthen and support the further engagement of Polynesian members with the S.P.C Secretariat. We welcome the opportunities that this platform will provide for S.P.C to better facilitate the planning and delivery of its programs and services to the sub-region, and we continue to advocate for our national systems and processes to the extent possible. I welcome the opportunity for Samoa to co-chair with Papua New Guinea the work of the new CRGA subcommittee that will help guide the implementation of the S.P.C's new Strategic Plan 2022-2031, as well as the commitment by the S.P.C to align this strategy with the 2050 strategy. With a vision to develop and shape Pacific futures, the University of the South Pacific continues to play a catalytic role through higher education, innovation, research, and vocational training across multiple disciplines in the Pacific region since its establishment 55 years ago. I think it is safe to say that U.S.P was instrumental in the formative years of nation building for Samoa, as with other Pacific countries, with many of Samoa's early leaders trained and taught at U.S.P. Teachers, political scientists, agricultural scientists, artists and literati, philosophers and historians, and the Pacific authors became directors, CEOs, parliamentarians, and cabinet ministers, as well as community leaders shaping and influencing policies and discourse for sustainable economic development. I look forward to further prospects that the Samoa campus can provide for our students to build a stronger future for the Blue Pacific. As a regional organization, the multi-member U.S.P has delivered societal benefits across the region that a few countries, Samoa included, could provide themselves. I commend U.S.P for continuing to adapt and develop to meet the needs of a modernizing Blue Pacific region and in aligning its objectives with the SDGs. U.S.P has contributed towards the shaping of the Samoa pathway, the framework for the Pacific regionalism, and the 2050 strategy, and is one of the few examples of success in Pacific regionalism. To our hosts, SPREP, the humble beginnings of this organization can be traced back to a joint initiative of the S.P.C, the Pacific Island Forum Secretariat, then known as S.P.C, S.C.A.P, and U.N.E.P in the 1970s. Over time, threats to the environment of our Pacific Island countries prompted our Pacific leaders to establish a specialized environmental organization, culminating with the signing of the agreement establishing S.P.R.E.P here in Apia on 16th of June 1993. S.P.R.E.P's vision to protect and improve our environment, to ensure sustainable development for present and future generations, remains true today as it did 3 decades ago. This is particularly relevant as we work under exceptional times and circumstances, including a climate emergency that threatens the livelihoods, security, and well-being of our Pacific people and ecosystems. The environmental threats that compelled Pacific leaders to establish S.P.R.E.P continue to form part of its key focus areas of work. Climate change, land-based and coastal pollution, increasing waste generation, and threats to and loss of biodiversity, amongst others. S.P.R.E.P's work reflects the complex interrelationship of our regional initiatives, albeit recognizing that environmental considerations remain vital to the achievement of both regionalism and resilient development of our countries. It also ensures the continued safety and well-being of our people and contributes to and makes connections to a number of ongoing regional dialogues. Samoa supports the implementation of the Pacific Regional Action Plan on Marine Litter and will continue to be involved in the negotiations to develop an international legally binding instrument to end plastic pollution, including the maritime environment. As a region, we contribute as little as 1.3% of global plastic pollution, but we are grossly and disproportionately affected by the impact of growing plastic pollution in all areas of everyday life, especially when it comes to our ocean. It has been almost 4 years since we launched the Pacific Climate Change Center. I am pleased with the reports of its work to date, giving effect to a common goal of our leaders and governments. The center's work has focused on building the capacity of our people through knowledge, training, networking, and research to ensure Pacific-tailored solutions to address our adaptation needs and mitigation priorities. We have acknowledged the important relationship between climate change and oceans, and so we must continue to advocate for the science-policy interface and innovative solutions to inform a more resilient Blue Pacific. Allow me at this juncture to again acknowledge the important support of the Government of Japan and New Zealand with this center. My government is privileged to have partnered with the S.P.C, S.P.R.E.P, and U.S.P on the many programs and projects undertaken in support of Samoa, and we look forward to continuing this work. We can be jointly proud of our achievements and successes to date, but work continues and we must not waver in our joint endeavors. Finally, I wish to congratulate all U.S.P graduates in advance of the U.S.P graduation ceremony tomorrow, and to warmly congratulate the Director General and all S.P.R.E.P staff and member countries on S.P.R.E.P's 30th anniversary celebration this year. Soifua me manuia.